Hey guys, so I finally got around to playing Hell Is Us, a game I've been really excited about ever since I saw the first trailer and gameplay. It's a sci-fi action-adventure game with a big focus on exploration and puzzles, which is exactly the kind of game I enjoy. The game runs on Unreal Engine, and I played it on PlayStation 5 in performance mode. Overall, it ran well, although I did notice a few small performance spikes here and there. Nothing that ruined the experience, but it's still worth mentioning. In Hell Is Us, we play as Rémi, who returns to his homeland, Hadia. The country is in the middle of a brutal civil war, and things only get worse from there. When he was just a kid, his parents sent him abroad to keep him safe. But now he's back to find out what happened to his family, and why he was sent away in the first place. There's also a mysterious calamity spreading across the country, along with some weird creatures called Hollow-Walkers roaming the world. But I don't want to spoil the story too much, so let's leave it at that. Oh, and by the way, can you guys recognize the voice actor?
How about I give it back when I no longer need it?
It's Adam Jensen from Deus Ex. But what makes Hell Is Us stand out is that it doesn't hold your hand at all. There's no minimap, no quest markers, and nobody tells you exactly where to go. Most of the time you don't even know how big the current area is or exactly where you are. You actually have to remember landmarks and the path you've already taken. Now, I know that probably sounds frustrating, but trust me, it's really not as bad as it sounds. The world is designed in a way that makes locations surprisingly memorable. You can often spot important buildings or landmarks from really far away, so after a while you naturally start recognizing where you are. You can also find a few actual maps while exploring or talking with NPCs. They don't magically reveal your position or anything like that, but they do help you understand the layout of the area a bit better. Instead of following objective markers, you get a compass and you have to pay attention to everything, read documents, listen to NPCs, and remember the information they gave you. If an NPC tells you that the APC is somewhere to the north, and after passing through the forest you should simply follow the wind chimes, that's exactly what you gotta do. You head north, find the forest, listen for the wind chimes, and eventually you'll find your destination.
We have a medkit in the camp.
Later, someone might tell you that a medkit is inside a camp and that you only need to follow the trail markers. Again, the game doesn't show you where to go, you actually have to look around and find it yourself. There are quite a few side quests and they do a really good job of expanding both the world and the story. Plus, the more side quests you complete, the more reward you earn for doing good deeds. As you explore, you slowly realize just how dark and depressed this world really is because of the civil war between the Sabinians and the Pelamists. You'll come across mass graves,
Anna, my baby girl.
executions, hangings, abuse.
Now these soldiers make sure I pay for my crime every single night.
And plenty of other horrible things. Sometimes the game doesn't even show you exactly what happened, it just leaves enough clues for you to imagine it yourself. The game definitely doesn't shy away from showing how brutal the war has been. What I also like is that the side quests aren't the usual go here, kill enemies, clear the area type of missions. Instead, they're usually small stories that make the world feel more real.
In the maintenance room.
Okay, listen to me.
I kept a picture.
For example, one woman asks you to recover a photograph of her daughter from a truck that crashed. Another side quest has you return a plush toy to the father of his deceased son. In another one, an elderly woman is hiding in the sewers with a baby, but she can't leave to get milk because a soldier will shoot her on sight. They're simple objectives, but they tell surprisingly emotional stories without trying too hard. I actually enjoyed the story so much that there were times when I spent almost an entire hour just walking around the village, talking to every NPC I could find and search for items related to side quests instead of progressing the main story. And yes, you can talk to almost everyone you meet. Some characters only share their thoughts about the war or what's happening around them, while others give you useful information that helps with the main quest. Fast travel is also handled in an interesting way. You can only travel between major regions using the Armored Personnel Carrier, or APC. Once you enter a region, you're exploring everything on foot. But if you want to return to the APC, you can fast travel back from the save points scattered around the map. I actually like this system because it encourages exploration without making backtracking too annoying. Of course, the Civil War isn't the only danger. Throughout the game, you'll also come across these weird creatures called Hollow Walkers. They're pale, faceless humanoids that represent human trauma and broken emotions brought to life, and they're the main supernatural threat in the game. There are quite a few different types of Hollow Walkers. Some use ranged attacks and are often positioned in places that are harder to reach. Some carry shields and can take a lot more damage, but they're much slower. Others are fast and really aggressive. And some use AoE attacks and usually fight alongside other walkers. There's always regular ones that are simply trying to overwhelm you with numbers. On top of that, every enemy can also appear in different strength levels, from tier 1 all the way up to tier 3, which keeps combat from feeling too repetitive. Some Hollow Walkers are connected to glowing energy orbs called the Haze, each one representing a different emotion. Those enemies are completely immune to your normal attacks until you destroy the Haze first. Rage is represented by the color red. They're highly offensive and use direct strikes. Terror by green. They use ranged AoE attacks. Ecstasy by yellow. They have erratic and unpredictable strikes. And finally, Grief by blue. They're slower and more defensive, but they hit heavily with lots of damage. There are also situations where multiple enemies share one large emotional entity. Until you kill the main target, the rest of the group stays invulnerable, so combat isn't always just about attacking the closest enemy. As for weapons, there's a decent variety to choose from. My personal favorite were the twin axes. They're the fastest weapons in the game, which gave me plenty of time to dodge or parry incoming attacks. Then you have the greatsword. It hits really hard, but it's also the slowest weapon. The sword is more of a balanced option. It's the first weapon you get, and it sits somewhere between the greatsword and the twin axes in terms of speed and damage. And there are pole arms. They have a much longer reach, and they also feel a bit faster than using the sword. Every weapon can also be upgraded with emotion glyphs like Rage, Terror, Ecstasy, and Grief. These glyphs unlock different offensive and defensive abilities, so you can customize your playstyle a little, depending on what you prefer. Just like in most action games, you can dodge, parry, block, use regular attacks, or charge up a stronger attack. Not every attack can be parried though. You can only parry attacks when the enemy flashes red. And weapons aren't your only tool. You also have a drone that can support you during combat. You can stun enemies, distract them, keep them busy for a few seconds, or even attack them directly, depending on which tech you found. Even though there's no traditional map, your datapad becomes your best friend. Inside it, you can check your current investigation and all the information you discovered so far about your objective. You can see your equipped weapons and glyphs, your inventory with both quest items and usable items, your drone abilities, your exploration progress, which basically tracks secrets and good deeds you've completed, and the research section, where every artifact you found gets documented. At first, the whole game might feel a little confusing. The lack of map and objective markers can make navigation seem intimidating. But honestly, after a few hours, you naturally adapt to it, and it starts feeling surprisingly rewarding. Now let's talk about the puzzles, because there are a lot of them. And personally, that's one of my favorite parts of the entire game. Most puzzles involve arranging glyphs correctly, inserting the right items into the specific mechanisms, entering codes, rotating stone pillars, stuff like that. I honestly enjoyed most of them because they constantly made me pay attention to my surroundings, instead of just killing creatures and looking for items. Some puzzles are straightforward, but others can leave you wondering whether you're missing something obvious or if you simply don't have the information yet. For example, this one. You'll sometimes reach a locked door like this. At first you have absolutely no idea what you're supposed to do. Do you need to search for matching glyphs nearby? Did you miss a document? Do you have to come back later? The game doesn't tell you anything. Unless you want to brute force it, you have to give up and continue. And by the way, you will be able to open these doors once you get the tech to research artifacts you find. Another example is finding a locked safe. You spend ages looking for the combination, only to eventually realize the code was written on a piece of paper located in an entirely different region. It can definitely be a little frustrating sometimes. Here's one example. Can you figure out the solution for this puzzle? I'll give you 5 seconds. And the answer is 24, 12, 4, 4. Another interesting mechanic is something called time loops. These are places where moments of extreme violence have become trapped in time, forcing everyone caught inside to relive those horrific events over and over again. Just imagine being trapped in one of those loops forever. To break the loop, you have to find and defeat special enemies called the Time Loop Guardians. Once they're defeated, you will hear the sound. And then the time loop can be accessed and destroyed. And with that, the enemies will stop spawning in that area. The locations in the game are really varied. You'll explore forests, villages, laboratories, caves, cemeteries, military camps, marshes, and plenty of other interesting places. Some are absolutely beautiful, while others are the complete opposite. Through the main story, you'll also meet several allies. Some of them can upgrade your weapons and defensive gear, while others research the mysterious artifacts you find during exploration. Learning more about those artifacts eventually helps you unlock additional secrets scattered throughout the world. There is quite a bit of backtracking though. Sometimes you'll find a special key item after 20 hours of gameplay that finally lets you open a mysterious door you discovered in the very first area. Some people probably won't enjoy that, but personally I thought it fit the game's exploration focused design really well.
Oh my goodness.
Overall, Hell Is Us was a really pleasant surprise. I honestly enjoyed it much more than I expected. If you're someone who likes getting invested in a story, exploring every corner of the world, solving puzzles, paying attention to details, and figuring things out on your own instead of following quest markers, I think there's a very good chance you'll enjoy this game as well.